today I will be sharing 5 new dinner ideas with you, and these are not your average dinners because these are dinners that you can make either in one pot on the stove or just one pan on the stove. So you already know these dinners are going to be exceptionally easy. They're going to be low mess just because we're cooking them in one pot or one pan, and then your entire family will love them. Let's go get to my kitchen and let's get started. To start us off today, we are making a meatless meal, and this is for all of my meatless meal friends out there. This summertime ravioli is so phenomenal. To a pot of boiling water, add in 18 ounces of cheese ravioli, or you could use any ravioli you like. Cook it according to the package instructions, and while it's cooking away, I diced up 2 zucchinis and a yellow onion. I'll set these veggies to the side. Now that my ravioli is cooked through, I'm going to remove about 1/3 cup of the water that the ravioli is cooking in, and I'm going to set it to the side. We're going to use this water to make the sauce here in a moment, but I strained the ravioli and I set it to the side. Into the same pot, add in about a tablespoon of olive oil. Once the oil is hot, add in the onion and the zucchinis that we just cut up. Cook this all together for about 5 minutes. Now we're going to toss in about a tablespoon of minced garlic along with our seasoning. So add in about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of rosemary and oregano. Then you're going to want to add in a 15-ounce can of drained corn. Make sure you do drain your corn. Then add in a 15-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. Give this a really good stir and bring this up to a simmer. Once this does start to simmer, toss in about 12 ounces of marinara sauce. So it's just about like half of a jar. You could use any type of marinara sauce that you love. Next, add in the reserved pasta water and the cooked ravioli. Give this a really good stir and let this cook for a few minutes and just simmer together. All those flavors are really going to start to shine through. After that, add in 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. Let the Parmesan melt down, and then this is ready to serve. So easy. If you are looking for a good meatless meal, you need to add this to your meal plan this week. It really is so delicious. The flavors are so bold. It comes together in no time at all. But if you wanted to add meat to this, you could always add some cooked Italian sausage. Now we're making these Italian shells with sausage, so to my large pot on the stove, I'm going to add in 1 pound of Italian sausage. I'm just using sausage links, so I'm just removing the casing on the outside of the sausage. Then I just tossed it in there. After I added all of my sausage in, I just kind of broke up the sausage a little bit with my meat masher. Now I'm going to add in 1 yellow onion that I diced, and I'm going to cook the sausage through at this point. Once your sausage is cooked through, you do want to remove any excess grease in your pot just because you just don't want a lot of grease in there from the sausage, and sausage tends to produce a lot of grease. Now I'm going to stir in a tablespoon of minced garlic. Once that garlic is fragrant, it should only take about 30 seconds. Add in 4 cups of chicken broth. Then you're going to toss in a teaspoon of salt, about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and then 24 ounces of marinara sauce. Give this a really good stir and scrape all the flavorful bits off the bottom of your pot. Now for the pasta, you do want to use uncooked pasta. I'm using 16 ounces of small shell pasta. Add it right in there and give it a stir. Cover this with a lid and let this simmer for about 15 minutes. While it's simmering, you do want to stir it often or else the pasta will burn to the bottom of your pot. But now that my pasta is cooked through and tender, I am going to add in about 1/2 cup of heavy cream right now and 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. If you don't want to add the cream or Parmesan in, you certainly don't have to. It just adds a little bit extra rich flavor. But here's my plate of food. We topped ours with a little bit more Parmesan cheese. This meal is very simple to throw together. It has simple ingredients, but yet it really is scrumptious, and we devour this entire thing. Now we're making this sausage and potato dinner. This one is so good. So you're going to start out by dicing your red potatoes into smaller pieces along with your zucchini and 2 bell peppers. You do want to make sure you dice your red potatoes into very small pieces just so they cook evenly and quick. But over to the pan on my stove, I added in 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I added the potatoes right in there. Next, I'm going to slice my kielbasa sausage kind of into half moons. This is 12 ounces of sausage if you're wondering. Cook this together for about 3 to 4 minutes. After you're through cooking this together for that time, you're going to add in about a half a cup of water, then your seasonings. So a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, and 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning. Cook this together for about 5 more minutes. Now you're going to toss in about a tablespoon of minced garlic, then add in the zucchini and peppers from earlier. Give this a really good stir, and you're going to want to cook this covered with a lid for about 5 to 10 minutes. Do stir it often while it's cooking for that time, but after that time is up, just stir in a third a cup of Parmesan cheese if you'd like to. If you don't want to add in the Parmesan cheese, of course you certainly don't need to, but after the cheese is nice and melty, you could serve this up. If you've been looking for a dinner that you can meal prep really easily, or a lunch you can meal prep easily, this one is definitely for you. You can make this in the beginning of the week, put it in little containers for the rest of the week, and then this one microwaves really well. It just tastes the same. It's super good. This one has to be one of my favorites at this time of year. This lemon butter chicken with pasta is so amazing. To a pot of boiling water, add in 16 ounces of rotini pasta. Cook it according to the package instructions, and while it's cooking away, I'm just going to cube up my 1 zucchini and my 1 yellow squash into smaller pieces. I'll set the squash and the zucchini to the side. Now that my pasta is cooked through, I'm going to remove about a third a cup of the water that the pasta is cooking in. This is going to help make our sauce here in a moment, but I'm just going to strain the pasta and set the pasta to the side. Into the same pot that we cooked the pasta in, add in a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter. Once the butter is nice and melty, add in a pound of cubed chicken breast, then season it with a dash of pepper, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and Italian seasoning. Those are my favorite seasonings for this recipe. Go ahead and cook the chicken through at this point. Now that my chicken is cooked through, I'm going to remove it to a plate, and I'm going to set this plate to the side. Into the same pot that we cooked the chicken in, add in about a tablespoon of olive oil, and then just add in the zucchini and squash from earlier. Now you're going to want to season this up with a dash of salt, pepper, about a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and oregano. Stir this all together and let this cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. After you're through cooking this together for that time, you're going to want to add in about 4 tablespoons of butter. Next, add in the juice from 1 lemon. Add that right in there. I'm just using my lemon squeezer. Now I'm tossing in a tablespoon of minced garlic and the reserved pasta water. Give this a stir and let the butter melt down. Once the butter has disappeared and it is nice and melty, add back in the cooked chicken along with the cooked pasta. Give this a stir, and then once you have this well combined, add in a cup of Parmesan cheese. I know it might sound like a lot of Parmesan cheese, but this is kind of like the sauce we're making, so it really does help with the flavor. Once the Parmesan melts down, you could serve this up. If you are a lemon fan, you will absolutely love this dinner. It kind of has like a light, fresh taste about it. It really is so good, and it really is perfect for this time of year. Now we're making this chicken with wild rice, and I've kind of been on a wild rice kick recently. To my large pot, I added in a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil. Once my butter was melty, I added in my pound of cubed chicken breast. We're going to season it up with a dash of salt, pepper, paprika, and rosemary. Cook the chicken until it is about 70% of the way cooked through, so not quite completely cooked through. But once my chicken was at that point, I added in in about a cup of shredded carrots, and listen, we were having a huge thunderstorm on that day. It was kind of crazy. My power went out for a little while, but now it is back on, thankfully. So once my power turned back on, I added in about a tablespoon of minced garlic to my pot, and then I added in a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of oregano. Then I tossed in 1 cup of frozen peas. Now add in 4 cups of cooked wild rice, or you could use white rice or brown rice. Give this a stir and let the chicken cook through at this point. Once the chicken is completely cooked through, you're going to want to add in a half a cup of half and half, then 1 cup of shredded Colby Jack cheese. Let the cheese melt down, and then you could serve this up. This really is such a delicious, flavorful dinner. It doesn't take very long at all to make, and then it has such simple ingredients. My entire family loves it, and it is delicious. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I have so many more videos like this on my channel, so make sure you're subscribed down below the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.